An effective content strategy is a very difficult thing to come up with as an artist. I would say most of us would prefer to lean into ads or playlist pitching or literally anything else outside of actually turning on a camera and putting ourselves out there on the internet. Because let's face it, creating stuff and sharing it online is kind of scary. You don't know what people are going to say. You don't know if your friends are going to make fun of you. You're sort of afraid of all the different things that could happen outside of the positive. Take it from me, as someone who has been creating content online for years now, I still struggle to come up with what I believe are good ideas. Now, when it comes to content from a creative and artistic perspective, I feel like there are three primary buckets that most of what we make can fall into. So let's examine these three buckets and talk about maybe where you are, where I am, and how we can hit more than just one of them and create an effective content strategy across the spectrum. So the first type of content that I see most artists make is technical style content. Now, we've all heard of the who, what, when, where, why, and how sort of questions to be asked, and technical style content generally seems to cover the what and how. Now, this is stuff like, what kind of gear I use, how I do X, Y, or Z. This is the easiest place to start online. In fact, you don't even have to film yourself doing anything if you don't want to. If you're not comfortable on camera, you can just start a screen recording and go to town sharing how you do whatever it is that you do. You could be producing music, editing photos, editing videos. Heck, there are tons of technical videos about using Google Sheets or any other piece of software. It's easy to help educate people online because tons of people have questions, they want to know how to do stuff, and just jumping right into the technical side of things frees you up from having to share anything sort of deeper or, let's say, a little bit more vulnerable. Technical content is a great place to start. I mean, take it from me. I lean into technical content all the time. Hello, ads, marketing, that's all technical stuff. But it's easy to get stuck in that technical content bucket. In fact, I feel like I have to try to fight my way out of it personally all the time. Technical content is a safe space to be, but it's not the broad picture of being a creator, being an artist, being someone who shares something that is personal to them. So we got to figure out a way to get out of that technical bucket and share something that is more passionate and more personal to us. And that leads us to our second bucket, which is emotional style content. Now, emotional style content, if we're looking at that sort of 6-point question spectrum, is kind of the who and why of things. So this is stuff like who I am, why I wrote this song, why I became a photographer, why I became a cinematographer, why I'm a painter. These are deeper questions that will bring your audience down closer to your heart and closer to who you are and get to the core of why it is you do what you do. This is also something that is a lot more difficult to share online. Trust me, I haven't created nearly as much content like this as I have in that technical bucket. Now, I have shared stuff like this in the past, and it doesn't resonate as broadly as the technical stuff. So technical stuff is a lot better for discovery and showcasing your expertise and gathering a group of people who want to learn from you, let's say. But emotional content is how you draw people deeper with you. So from an artist perspective, on the technical side, you can share how you produced a track. On the emotional side, you can talk about what the lyrics mean to you and why you wrote that song. You can talk about how you got started in music. You can talk about why you've continued to make music. These are all things that a smaller subset of your audience are going to be interested in, because let's be honest, some people are just here to learn, and that's totally cool. But the people who are here to learn are not as likely to go deeper with you as an artist and invest into your actual art for the long term. If you want to have people invested into your art for the long term, then you have to go deeper with more emotional style content. But that's not the whole picture. At the core of being an artist is our third content bucket, which is content that is entertaining. If you are creating music, you are an entertainer. It doesn't matter if you're making music that's supposed to be on the stage in an arena or music that is meant to be paired with TV and film in the background. All of that is a broad spectrum of entertainment. And so if you are creating something, you need to be thinking about how you can use that to entertain people. Now, across that 6-point spectrum, this one is a little bit looser, I'll be honest, and I also had to sort of fill in the gaps here, but this is kind of your when and where. So entertaining style content is stuff like performances and, most importantly, stories. So if you're not willing to turn the camera on yourself and put in some sort of performance around your music, no matter the genre, then you are sort of stopping short of sharing the full spectrum of content possibilities online. Now, this is easy to look at, say, like if you're a hip hop artist or a country singer, it's easy to just turn on the camera and record yourself playing your song or performing your song, or take the track and doing 15-second music video style clips on TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff like that. Like that's low-hanging fruit. But even if you're just a pianist or a classical composer or a lo-fi artist, just having some performance style clips of yourself in short form will go a very long way with your audience. If people are invested into your art, they want to see you performing and doing what you do. They want to be entertained. And if they're not entertained, you're going to get stuck in this first content bucket of technical content, and people are not going to go deeper with your art. And lastly, at the core of being a good entertainer is telling a good story. Now, obviously a short 15-second music video clip is one thing, but telling a good story is a really effective way to hit multiple beats, entertain someone, capture their attention, which is what all of social media is about. And then you can pull them backwards into that emotional bucket as well. So stories really overlap between the two. You can touch on both of these second and third buckets with a really good story with your content. So after that overview, we might think that our content strategy should sort of look like this. We got technical content, emotional content, and entertaining content. And you got to be hitting all three, right? Like this week, I'm going to hit technical. Next week, I'm going to hit entertaining. With this video, I'm going to go for the emotional side of things. And that can work, but really it should look more like this. All of our content should have some sort of an overlap to it. So if you have technical content, it should have an emotional or an entertaining aspect to it as well. If you have entertaining, it should have one of the other two as well. Same with emotional. So you want to be overlapping several different things all at once. That's the power of something that's really going to draw somebody into your world. So some examples of how these might overlap, with technical content and emotional content, you can use that to educate and inspire people. So not just showing them how you do something, but tapping into the why behind why you do what you do and sharing that with them so that they get inspired to do the same thing or learn from you and do it in their own way. With entertaining content, you can show your process of creating, educating people on how you do what you do, but also make it fun. Make it where they want to actually watch the video to the end because they just enjoy seeing you do what you do. And then the overlap of emotional and entertaining again is stories. So if you can tell a good story, you can tap into both the entertainment aspect and the emotional aspect. And I would say this is probably the single biggest broad net at the top of your funnel. If you can master a good story, whether it's in a 30-minute long form video or a 10-second short form video, if you can do that well, you'll pull people in at the top of the funnel, and then you can bring them deeper with who you are as an artist and with the art that you actually create. But at its core, our content strategy really should look like this. You want to be hitting that sweet spot. You want to be covering all three of these simultaneously, kind of as frequently as you can. Now, obviously, you're going to branch off a little bit. A music video performance isn't necessarily going to educate. It might, but it probably won't. A technical style screen share video, basically like this, isn't going to tap into that entertainment factor necessarily as much. This video is a great example of technical style content with an emotional underlay. So I want to inspire you to create. I want to inspire you to push yourself. I want to inspire you to explore who you are as an artist and try to hit all of these things. But hopefully this video is entertaining enough that you will make it through the entire thing just because you enjoy the pacing of it and how I have presented the information. So if you can hit that sweet spot in the middle, telling a good story and covering all three of these buckets, then you are onto a content strategy that will serve you for the long term. Now, if you're stuck in one of these content buckets, kind of like I am, name the bucket that you're stuck in below and we'll talk about it in the comments and maybe discover a way to get you out of it. If you want to watch a little bit more from me, you can check out this video right here. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.